Hello, basketball coaches and basketball players. My name is Alan from House Basketball Training, and today I'm going to give you some horns, hammer pass basketball plays that you can use in your next game. Of course, make sure to practice them before you get on the court. But anyways, these are fantastic plays. It's going to open up many three-point shots for some of your best three-point shooters. Let's get down to the clipboard and let's check out these basketball plays. Okay, so first what we're going to have is player 5 popping out towards the three-point line. Player 1 is going to pass player 5 the ball. And now what we're going to have is player 4 setting a screen for player 1. And we're going to have player 3 setting up the staggered screen for player 1. Player 2 is going to be coming up top and setting a screen for player 5, who is then going to drive towards the rim. Player 5 is going to drive towards the rim. Player 2 is going to pop. Now, of course, player 5 may be wide open to go for that layup. However, if he is not, let's say his man beat the screen or there's a help defense, whatever there may be, player 5 is going to be driving towards the rim. And what a hammer pass is, if you don't already know, is when you're driving on one side of the court and then you pass the ball out towards the other side. And that's usually an open three-point shot. This works against man-to-man defenses really well, but also against zone defenses. And player 5 is going to be driving towards the rim. He can go in for that layup, or he can kick it out to player 1, who just used a staggered screen for a three-point shot. Meanwhile, when player 1 takes his shot, personally, I am a huge fan of having 3 players getting the rebound. So we have player 5 on this side, player 3 is going to be rolling down, getting the rebound there, and player 4 is going to be popping down and getting the rebound up top. That way we have our triangle around the rim. And player 2, when he's popping, he might as well start sneaking back, because in case there is a very long rebound, at least we have one player who is back on defense. Now, going from there, what we're looking to have is either that three-point shot or the layup from player 5. Let's check out another play. So in this next play, we're going up against a man-to-man defense one more time. And what we're going to be having here is player 5 setting a screen down for player 2, and player 2 is going to be using that screen popping up and across. Player 3 is going to be moving up towards the high post, and we're going to be having player 4 set a screen on this side of player 1. Now, when this happens down low with player 5 setting that screen, that's going to happen first. As soon as player 2 uses that screen and cuts across, that is when player 2 hits that key, that's when I want to see player 4 setting that screen. So, we're going to have, at first, we'll have player 5 setting that screen. Player 2 is cutting across. As soon as that happens, player 4 is going to move up. And player 5 is going to be then clearing out towards this side of the court. Player 1 is going to be then driving towards the rim. And we're going to be having possibly player 5 popping down, or player 2 popping down if player 1 takes the middle of the key. That way we're collapsing these two players. One of two things can happen. We can kick out to player 5, or if player 5 doesn't come down to play help defense, we can have player 1 kick out to player 2. Now player 2 has the open shot, and if player 3 tries to go and collapse and play defense on player 2, he can swing the ball for player 3 to hit that shot. Now this also works again really well against a 3-2 zone defense as well. So against the 3-2 zone defense, we're going to be having player 4 setting that back screen still on player 5, and player 3 is going to be cutting across the key. Of course, he may be actually open for a layup in the middle of the key. Now, if he is not, he is going to be popping out towards that side, and player 5 is going to be setting a screen for player 1. Player 1 is going to use that screen. He's going to try and split down between players 1 and 2. The reason for this is because player 4 is going to be popping out, which could drag player 2 down just a bit. Now, player 1 could go in for that layup or a floater, or what's most likely going to happen is player 5 is going to step out to defend him. He is then going to take the right side and he's going to pass out to player 3 for that 3-point shot. Now, the thing with this is because the 3-2 zone, 3's zoned area is right there, which means that he needs to go and close out, and same as player 4, which now leaves player 2 wide open for either a 3-point shot or for a drive towards the net, where player 3 could pass him the ball for a floater or a nice easy left-handed layup. Now, this next play, if you have a player 4 who is a very good shooter, this could actually be a very viable option for your team. So what we're going to have here is player 5 and 2. They're going to be setting a staggered screen for player 1. Again, this works also against a 2-3 and 3-2 zone defense. This specific play does. Player 1 is going to be using that screen, and at the same time, once this first screen gets set, we're going to have player 3 setting a screen for player 4, and player 4 is going to go down towards that corner. This is when player 1 is going to be driving towards the net. He could go in for a layup. However, if one, both, or all 3 of these players collapse on him, player 1 can then kick the ball out to player 4. Player 3 is going to be then popping out towards the 3-point line so that either player 4 has an open 3-point shot, or if there's a player closing out on him, he could then swing the ball to player 3 for that 3-point shot as well. Now, like I was mentioning, this also does work really well against a 3-2 and 2-3 zone, so I'll show you it really quickly against both of those zones. So first, against the 3-2 zone, we'll have player 5 setting a screen there, player 2 setting a screen up top, and we're going to have player 3, instead of setting a screen for a player over here because there is no player over there, we're going to be having player 3 set a screen for player 3. This is going to come after, though. We're not going to be doing that right away. So once player 1 uses that screen, he's going to drive towards the rim. Once he comes off of that second screen, that's when we want player 3 to use that screen or set that screen and run that screen, so that now player 1 can drive towards the rim. Of course, if he thinks he can beat player 5, he can go for it, or he can do a hammer pass along the baseline out to player 4 for that 3-point shot. Now, player 3, of course, curls off of that screen so that he can be open for the secondary pass or the extra pass from player 4. Now, against the 2-3 zone, again, a very great offense to run. Let me show you really quickly. So we're most likely going to have a double up top. So what we're going to be having here instead is player 5 using that screen, and we're going to be having player 2, he is going to be going and trying to get as close towards the sideline as possible just to create space. Player 1 is going to be coming off of that screen, but instead, what's going to happen, the defense is going to be shifting like this. Player 3, instead of setting for a screen up here for, well, nobody, what's going to happen is player 3 is going to be setting a screen for player, or on player 3. Player 1 is going to be driving towards the rim. He's going to be collapsing the defense, so he could go up for the layup if he was open to do so. Or player 4 is going to be using that screen down low. Player 1 could pass out to player 2 in this case for the 3-point shot, or he can drive through, kick it out to player 4 for a 3-point shot from the wing. Now, these hammer pass Horns basketball plays are absolutely fantastic for you to run. I hope that they help you as much as they have helped me in the past. Of course, hit that like button and subscribe. Go check out my coach's membership in the link in the description below if you want some custom basketball practice plans and some talking on Skype. And I'll talk to you, or I'll see you guys again in our next video, which is later on today.